Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Stanley Dyrector Show. We're in for a treat. My friend Chris Sullivan, actor, director, one-man show guy. Chris, welcome to the show, and I got to ask you, how and why did you become an actor-director?
An actor-director?
Yes.
Well, I became an actor, I suppose, just because I like to look at people and impersonate them, walk like the milkman, talk like the milkman, the insurance man. I used to take the insurance man off when he, insurance man used to knock on the door and used to say to my parents, "Have you got your money today?" And my parents would say, "No, come in." And little things like that. And the milkman used to come around, and I used to impersonate him. Because don't forget, we were immigrants in England, and I had this Irish accent as a child, and then I had to go to school. And all the kids when I went to school used to speak in that English accent. So I would go there and try and impersonate them, try to speak English.
You mean you were from Ireland,
Ireland
right? Did you say,
Yeah,
okay.
Ireland, from Dublin.
Not that, hey, oh boy.
Yeah.
James Joycetown.
James Joycetown, Sean O'Casey and all those people. So I had to impersonate all the kids. And then when I come home at night, I had to speak like my parents with the Irish accent again.
Right.
And then every 3 months we'd go back to Dublin because my dad used to work on the railways, so we had free passage to Ireland, free passage to everywhere in Europe, but we always went to Dublin 3 times a year. And when I went there, I used to play ball with the kids over there, and they used to call me English. And in England, they used to call me Irish. So I mean, you're playing with a football, and they say, "Pass the ball over here, English." And I'd say, "I'm not English, I'm Irish." And then I got to England, and they say, "Pass the ball over here, Irish." And I say, "I'm not Irish, I'm English." And you've got the posh areas, they'd say, "Over here," not over here, "over here, Paddy." And my dad used to hate that Paddy. He used to hate being called Paddy.
Why?
It's a racist remark, you see.
It is?
Yeah, he said he was walking in Dublin one day, and an Englishman came up to him and said, "I say, Paddy, could you let me know where the railway station is?" And he says, How did you know my name was Paddy?" And the Englishman said, "Well, I guessed." He says, "Well, you can guess your way to the station." I had to come out with that one.
I got to ask you this. How did you get into business, though, being an actor?
Well, I suddenly saw, to be honest, totally honest.
This is an honest show.
An honest show.
Yeah.
I saw a guy that was in a soap opera one day. I used to play around and entertain people in coffee shops and whatever, just with friends, make people laugh and impersonate people. But I saw a guy one day with a really nice looking blonde on his arm, and this guy was just in a soap opera. And he was at something called the pantomime ball, which was a big ball they used to throw in this particular town. And he was walking around looking famous. I thought, God, maybe that's what I want to do. So I looked into it, and I found out you need to go to drama school, you need to train and things. So I joined an amateur dramatic company, and we did a play called The Mad Woman of Shio. And I had one line in it, and the line was, "Especially such a lady." I can even remember that now. But I found out that I would have been 3 months painting the scenery, and then maybe next year I would have had 2 lines and things like that. So I cut short and went to drama school, which meant auditioning for them, which I didn't know anything what I had to do. So I took some Shakespeare lessons and acting lessons and things.
Shakespeare lessons?
Yes, I went to a private teacher who taught me how to do, and I did Othello.
Oh, like how do you do Othello?
Well, "Most potent, grave, and reverend seniors, my very noble and approved good masters." I had to say, that's a speech I learned. I mean, Othello is a huge guy, he's a Moor, and he would be these days be played by an African American.
Oh.
And here's a little white Irish guy playing him just for an audition, because that's the only play I ever knew. I saw Laurence Olivier play it, and when I went for this private lesson for the Shakespeare, she said, "Do you know any Shakespeare?" I said, "Well, I know Othello." And she said, "Okay, we'll do Othello." Othello's a great big Moor, big warrior. Right. But I sort of, "Most potent, grave, and reverend seniors," put my voice down, and got through the audition, maybe because of my chutzpah, probably. And then I had to go and audition at the education department to get a grant, so I could go to drama school and pay for myself, because it all gets paid. It did, not now. All used to get paid for by the government in England. You get a grant. No such things as student loans in those days. You just
really
no. So I did 3 years there, and I found out that I wanted to do more than just a soap opera and have a blonde on my arm, especially as I was married at the time. And so I'm still married now, by the way.
Oh, hey,
yeah, of
look,
course.
chalk one up for you.
Yes, exactly. So I went into the theatre and did.
But who were your like inspirations? Actors usually have like a Michael Redgrave, a Marlon Brando, or somebody like that.
Well, the thing is, not really. I didn't really have any great inspirations. Maybe until later on, I liked the usual actor heroes. You know, like Brando, James Dean, Montgomery Clift. Gary Cooper I used to like very much. Jack Lemmon I used to like very much. Lots of actors.
Any Englishmen? Any Englishmen? Jack Hawkins, maybe?
Jack Hawkins. He was all right. Yeah, Jack Hawkins, but he wasn't a great influence on me. I was always influenced more by American actors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and also I mean, influence, I don't know. Was I influenced by them? I mean, I know actors that kind of have had their career doing a kind of impersonation of somebody. You know, there's a guy I knew who used to do, very famous actor called Harry H. Corbett. He was the guy, you know Sanford and Son?
Yeah, sure.
Well, the original was Steptoe and Son in Britain, and he played the son, and it was based on. Now this was a great actor, Harry H. Corbett, his name was, and he would play Richard III and various Shakespeare roles, and then he got that series, and after that, that's all he ever did. He didn't do any of his posh Shakespearean works after that.
Right.
Now I know an actor that used to, if he played Cockney, he'd take him off. He'd talk like that. How you going? And if he played anybody posh, he'd be Laurence Olivier.
Yeah.
You know, I beg your pardon, my man. Anyway, I'm doing a little.
No. I like. What was your first paying job, though?
It was in a series called The Newcomers on TV. It was a weekly, but I did 1 year at drama school, and then they sent us across to the BBC to do a crowd scene. And one of us there, I just said to somebody, I said to one of the actors, "How did you get on this?" He said, "Well, I just wrote to the producer." And so the very first letter I wrote to a producer, he answered me and called me in for an audition to play part of Charlie, a fairground barker, you know, some guy selling what was it?
Rides or popcorn or that kind of thing.
At the fairground, and I got maybe 4 scenes in that, so that was good. But then when I left drama school, the first job I did was actually in that soap opera, which I saw the guy walking around.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did 13 episodes.
Is that right?
Yeah, and that kind of got me out of debt, because you're at drama school for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get a job anywhere, and the first thing I did was get myself a job as an ice cream man, you know, driving those ice cream, yeah.
Yeah.
But I couldn't sell it. You know, I had ice cream. I couldn't sell ice cream in the summer, and people think that I'm a natural salesperson, salesman, but I couldn't sell ice cream. Anyway, so the guy called me into the office and he said, you know, your sales are down. We're going to have to let you go at the end of the week. And then I got home that evening, and my wife said, "Your agent called. You got that job that you went for 2 or 3 months ago." I said, "Wow, did I?" He said, "Yeah." So I called my agent the next day, and I got 13 episodes. You know, and that kind of paid all my debts off, and you know, straightened myself out, and that was great. So that was my first job was actually in that soap opera that I saw the guy walking around with the blonde on his arm.